Good afternoon to all my ball knowers out there. This is episode 9 of the Southern Spread, and this episode is Week 5 college football preview and plays for this weekend. So I got about 4 pages of notes, so let's get right into it. We'll run through the SEC slate first. At 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, we have Notre Dame at Arkansas, and as of today, it's Notre Dame minus 3.5. I fully expect Notre Dame to do exactly what Memphis did to the Hogs, and that is gash their defense in the run game. Memphis ran all over Arkansas, and that's not good as the Fighting Irish come to town with one of the best rushing attacks in the country with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. Those two guys they both could be All-American backs. Love already is, and Price is on his way there. So they should both be poised for huge games for the Fighting Irish. On the Arkansas side, can Taylon Green make enough plays and not turn the ball over enough, or to where he can keep Arkansas in the game? If Arkansas can get to the fourth quarter ahead or down 3, I think this could be a very interesting game. However, I do not see that happening against Marcus Freeman and the Irish, and I have Notre Dame covering and winning 27-17, Fighting Irish. Next, at 11:45, we have Utah State at Vandy. Vandy is favored by 22.5. Should be an easy roll for Vandy. Can Diego Pavia keep up this current success he has for the Doors and keep making plays and doing all the things? I think he does. I think the defense still holds up. I do, however, have Utah State covering. 22.5 is a lot. Vandy, I have it close though. I mean, I can see it going either way. But I have them covering. I have Vandy winning big, 38-17 Saturday morning. At 2:30, big time games at 2:30. I mean, this is a great slate of college football this weekend. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 and 6 ranked matchups this weekend. So it's going to be a really good weekend of college football. So I look forward to all of them this weekend. But the first one of the day that I see is LSU at Ole Miss. As of right now, this stands as a pick'em game. And what that means is it's even, essentially. It's at 2:30. This is the first time we'll see Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback of Ole Miss, in a big-time game. He's played really well the last 2 weeks of the season. However, they haven't played much competition the last 2 weeks of the season. So we'll really find out how if he can take this Ole Miss offense and just run away with it and take the job from Austin Simmons. If he does continue the success that he's had the last 2 weeks, the Rebels have found their guy in Trinidad Chambliss, and I have them in contention for a playoff spot if he continues what he's got going. On the other side, how does LSU's O-line hold up against the Rebels' front seven? I mean, if I'm Ole Miss, I'm trying to just pressure the heck out of Garrett Nussmeier. And I would play light boxes until LSU proves me that they can run the ball. Their rushing attack has been abysmal to start the season. I mean, it has been terrible. So if I'm Ole Miss, I think they can play light boxes and try and get home with 4, 5 sometimes, bring stunts, those types of things, twist and get to Nussmeier with that LSU offensive line and make them hold up and make them run the ball. Because until they show me that they can run the ball, that's what I'm doing every time against them. In this one, Ole Miss is at home, and I have Ole Miss winning this game 38-34. I think the Rebels defense holds up against the Tigers' rushing attack and doesn't let them get going. And I think Trinidad Chambliss proves why he is the guy for the job in Oxford. And I have Ole Miss winning that one. Also at 2:30, another big game, Auburn at Texas A&M. How does Jackson Arnold bounce back from being on the ground for half the game in Norman? After being sacked 10 times, does he get a little skittish whenever he sees pressure? Or does he come back and fight it head on and just stand in there and continue to take hits and continue to deliver the balls and that he's supposed to, and do those types of things like a quarterback's supposed to do? I've seen it all before. I saw it last year with our Tennessee team. Nico gets hit a couple times, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, he sees one guy and he's out of the pocket running. You got to still stand in there and take the hit. That's what a quarterback does. And yeah, so let's see if he still stands in there and handles the pressure. I mean, he handled it well in Norman. I mean, it's even being sacked 10 times. He played a really good game. Because A&M's front seven is going to probably do the exact same thing that Oklahoma's did. For A&M, their run game has had a massive improvement over the last 3 weeks from week one. And I really like that about this Texas A&M team. Plus the two playmakers on the outside, Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver, both transfers, but big-time playmakers. They have been studs this year for the Aggies. And I just really like this Texas A&M team so far this season. 6.5 is heavy, I think, for this game, even though it is at Kyle Field in College Station. But I have Auburn covering and Texas A&M winning 34-30 Aggies on Saturday afternoon. Next one is, we'll skip that one. We'll come back to the Tennessee game. UMass at Mizzou. Mizzou's favored by 43.5 at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday night. Mizzou will run this game, and it's just another game for Purbulo to play more college football. 43.5 is heavy. I have UMass covering, Mizzou winning 48-10. It's just a really big number to cover. I've said it before. If a number is over 40, I'm taking whoever. I'm taking the plus on that one. I'm taking the dog and the spread on anything 40 plus. Because it's a huge number to cover. Saturday night, Kentucky at South Carolina. South Carolina is favored by 6.5 at 6:45 p.m. Williams-Brice is tough at night. Who's playing quarterback for the Cats? I don't know. Neither one of them are good. How healthy is Sellers? He had a solid game throwing the ball against Missouri this past week. But the biggest thing for both of these teams isn't even the quarterback positions. I think it's the run game for both of these teams. Can South Carolina get it going on Saturday? I mean, having negative yards rushing in a game is just insane to me. You don't see that a lot. So they have to get that going. I mean, they have a couple of decent SEC backs. They got to get him going, get him using it. And Sellers can run. I mean, I know he had a concussion or whatever, and he probably didn't run as much, but you got to use his legs, especially to open up it'll help open up the pass game and help open up everything else you're doing. So can South Carolina's run game get it going? Big X factor. And can Kentucky continue on their success of running the football with Dante Dowdle and oh my gosh, his name just slipped my head. Seth McGowan. Can those guys continue their success running the football? I think whichever team runs the football, well, if South Carolina gets their run game going, I like them. If Kentucky goes crazy in this one, I could see them keeping them in this football game, and then it'll be whichever quarterback doesn't make mistakes or makes more plays. And I will side with LaNorris Sellers, even though he has kind of been overhyped to this point of the season. Not saying that he is not a really good college football player. He is, but he hasn't lived up to what everybody foresee him to be this season to date. And he could change that around in this game. You know, he could end up going absolutely insane and go 20-25 for 320 and run the ball 10 times for 75 yards and have 4 total touchdowns. That could very well happen in this game. Will it? I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm not going to say it's going to happen whenever I haven't seen it all year. But I will side with Sellers being the better quarterback in this game, and I will have this as Kentucky covering because South Carolina hadn't scored a lot of touchdowns this year. But South Carolina wins the football game 24-20 Gamecocks. So we'll come back to the Tennessee game because I'll talk a little bit more about it. And I have my upset of the week here. I'll wait till the end for that one. So let's get into best of the rest because there's lots of big games around the league as well. Friday night, we have a good one. We love Friday night football too. Number 24, TCU at Arizona State. I think this could be big-time implications for who's going to win the Big 12 this year. Arizona State's favored by 2.5 at home and usually get 2 points for being at home. So this is essentially a pick-'em game for me because that atmosphere doesn't do 2.5 points worth for me anyways. Josh Hoover for TCU looks like he could be a real Heisman dark horse candidate. He's really slinging the pill and playing good football for the Horned Frogs, and he looks really, really good. And I think they have that receiver, Eric McAllister. I think he had 250 receiving yards this past week. So that TCU offense looks really, really good. Arizona State, can they return to form? They looked better last week. Not great. They still don't look like a playoff team or really even a top 25 team yet. Leavitt has struggled to date. They only have one receiver. Jordan Tyson, yeah, he's probably one of the best receivers in the country, but when you only got one guy, it's kind of easy to double team him and not, those types of things. Raleek Brown out of the backfield has been solid for ASU this year. I do not think they're the Arizona State of last year, though. I think their defense is a little worse, and I don't think their offense is as good because they don't have the options that they had last year. They only have 2, I think, outside of the quarterback position. So I'm going TCU to cover and TCU to win 34-30. I really like Josh Hoover. I really like that offense. I really like TCU. They're one of my top 3 teams of the Big 12 to go with Iowa State and I would say Baylor, but yeah, I think Arizona State and Baylor are right there too. So yeah, I got TCU covering and winning 34-30. We got big noon kickoff. Number 21 USC at number 25 Illinois. Southern Cal is favored by 6.5 Saturday morning. This was almost my upset of the week, but I changed it last second. Even though I still have this as an upset. Whichever quarterback makes more plays and less mistakes, I think is the winner of the game. I usually side with Altmaier. I like Altmaier a lot. I know Jade Mayava has been very, very good, and that offense is very, very potent and powerful and fast and all the things, but I don't know if their defense can hold up against Illinois' offense either. And this one being technically it's a 11 a.m. start time, which is a 9 a.m. game for the Trojans for the first time this season, I believe. So I'm going to go Illinois covers and wins 27-24 after they got embarrassed last week. They'll be out to prove something, I believe, and they take it in and beat the Trojans. I could very well see this being 27-24 USC, but I do think Illinois covers either way, the 6.5. I think this is a 3-point ball game, 2 to 4 point ball game on Saturday. I don't foresee it being more than that. So Illinois covering for sure. I have Illinois winning, so that's where I'll go. I think it's whichever quarterback plays better. Big ACC matchup that nobody's probably talking about very much at 11 a.m. on Saturday. The Louisville Cardinals are traveling to Pittsburgh against the Pittsburgh Panthers, and it's a good game for ACC implications for who is right there in that 3 to 5 range. I think it's Georgia Tech. I think it's Louisville. I think it's Pittsburgh. I think it's not Clemson. Clemson's terrible. Like I said last week, if they lose or if it's close, I'm off Clemson. I'm out. I'm out on Clemson for the rest of this year. Don't care what they do. Don't care if they end up going 10-2 or 9-3, whatever it is. I'm out. I like these teams though. I like the Pittsburgh quarterback Eli Holstein. I like I like the running game from Louisville. Louisville's favored by 4.5. I think this is a sneaky, really, really good game in the ACC. I actually have. This could also have been my upset pick for the week, but it's not. We'll get to it. It looks like I have a lot of kind of upset picks. But I actually have Pitt covering behind a big game from Eli Holstein, and actually Pitt winning 28-24. I think them being at home will help. I like Narduzzi as a coach, so I got Pitt in this one. Ohio State at Washington at 2:30. I think this can be I'm not going to say a sneaky upset pick. I don't think it's a sneaky upset pick. I think Ohio State handles business and wins this game. I think the run game from Washington will show some holes. I love the Ohio State defense. Don't get me wrong. I love Caleb Downs. I love Sonny Styles. I do. But I think they haven't played anybody this year, because I don't think Texas is that great as of right now. They can get there, but they're not right now. That offense is not good, and their run game is not the best. I do think Washington's run game can show some holes in the Ohio State defense, and that'll get patched up really fast before next week. And I do have Julian Sayin having another good game. I think he leads the country in completion percentage at like 79%. I don't think he throws 80% Saturday, but I think he's still around 70, 72, and has a solid day for the Buckeyes, and they cruise to a victory. I do actually have Washington covering 9.5. Being at Washington, I'll give them the 2 points, and for that, and Ohio State wins 31-24 Buckeyes, as they start 5-0 or 4-0, whatever it is. Probably one of the two biggest games of the week. Just depends on what bias you are. It's probably the biggest game of the week. We have number 6 Oregon at number 3 Penn State. Penn State is favored by 3.5 at home. Oregon, I got 4 or 5 points for both teams on like key things they need for this game. Dante Moore has been unbelievable to start this season. However, they have not played anybody yet. You could say Northwestern, you can say Oklahoma State, you could say whoever. Those teams are terrible, and their defense is not comparable to Penn State's at all. Those guys would be third string on Penn State's defense. So we will see how good he really is against this Penn State defense. We will find out this weekend just how good Oregon is, I believe, and what they're capable of this season. I think this is the only game that Oregon loses this season because their schedule, they might. I think the only other game that they could possibly lose would be Indiana, and I don't see that happening. But Oregon also has a three-headed monster in the backfield that has been, I think they're all averaging 5+ yards a carry, and they're all about 200, 300 yards this season. So it's very, very good because they can get guys in and keep them fresh, especially if they can pick up those types of yards against Penn State's defense. I don't know if they will. I think Penn State's defense is really good against the run, so we'll see if those guys can get going. Biggest thing for me is let the playmakers at Oregon make plays. Malik Bennett, I think that's his name. Malik Benson, sorry. DeCorian Moore, the tight end, I forget his name. Those guys, oh gosh, just let them get in space and let them make plays. And that could be big time for Oregon this weekend. For the defense of Oregon, you have to stop the run first. Make Drew Aller beat you in the air. You got more speed than Penn State does on the outside at the secondary. So make Aller beat you in the air, and do not let those running backs beat you. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton are the best running back tandem in the country, I believe. They're both first-round picks, I think. You just can't let them beat you, and that's the whole thing for Penn State's offense. Is that rushing game gets going, you're going to be in trouble. Moving on Penn State's side, just like I just said, get the run game going early and often against this Oregon defense. And then if you can protect Aller to allow him to make the throws that he's supposed to make, and it opens up everything else for the run game to continue to be successful for the whole game. That's a big key for Penn State. On defensive side, I think the defense of Penn State has to get pressure on Dante Moore. He hasn't seen a defense like Penn State, so give him those weird looks, give him those weird sims, those weird blitzes, zone blitzes, and make him read the defense because he hasn't seen it yet, and make him make the mistakes for you if you're Penn State. Give Drew Aller, and back to the offense, the last note I have for Penn State, give Drew Aller the time and allow him to make plays. He's very high IQ quarterback. He can make the throws. He's going to usually make the right decisions. I very rarely see him make bad decisions. So just allow him to play his game and let him make the plays to win you this football game. Like I said, it was Penn State favored by 3.5. I have Oregon covering 3.5, and I have Penn State winning 34-31. And we're only at 21 minutes. We might get this one done in 30. So let's go back to Tennessee game because, I always spend more time on my team. Tennessee at Mississippi State this weekend. The Vols are favored by 7.5. That game is at 3:15 on Saturday afternoon. The big question mark here is, can Josh Heupel win a big SEC game on the road? We'll find out. That's one of his things so far is he hasn't been able to. And no, I don't count Kentucky and I don't count Vanderbilt because those are, like I've said, those are two games that doesn't matter. Tennessee should beat them every single year. But last year at Arkansas lost. Year before that, or a couple years before that, at South Carolina lost. Still hasn't beaten Florida in the Swamp. Hasn't won a game at Sanford Stadium in Georgia. Had 2-1 against Bama this year, or in his tenure, and both of the games that he won was at home. So those types of things. Yeah, he went to LSU and beat LSU. That was a big win, and that's what we need to see again here. He's got to do it a couple times. He's won a couple of those games like that, and I think this is a chance to kind of push that over the hump a little bit again. But I think I would more so say it's winning 2 road games in 1 year is the big key for him. If he can do that, that's huge for this Tennessee team, and I think it starts right here at this one. I do think the experience of Joey Aguilar in this run game and the young receiving core is a big help for this week. Mississippi State secondary is solid. They have Kelly Jones, I think is his name, big corner, 6'4", probably going to be trailing Chris Brazzell all game because of the size, 6'5" on 6'4". He's quick too, long arms. If he can stick with Brazzell, that's going to be, you're going to have to find another number 1 receiver. I don't think anybody can stick with Braylon Staley in his route running, though. And then Mike Matthews is just athlete. Just put him anywhere on the field, he's going to make plays. So I think you'll see those two guys take on more of an impact in this one because Kelly Jones being on Chris Brazzell. I think he'll tell him the whole game. I don't know. He may play one side of the ball, and if he plays one side of the ball, they'll probably move Brazzell to the other side. But yeah, they had to stop that run game. I mean, Arizona State gashed them in the second half, and that's why they came back. They didn't throw a pass in the second half. Arizona State didn't against Mississippi State, and they ran all over them and almost came back and won that football game and should have won the football game. So I do think the rushing attack of the Vols, having 3 backs that can stay healthy and all do everything you need a running back to do. I think that's going to be the key to this game, and it'll open up the pass game as well. The only thing that could be a kind of an issue is the health of the Tennessee defense. I mean, that secondary is McCoy still being out, Gibson being out, Moy being out, Hobbs being out. Tyree West was out last week. I think West comes back this week. I think Moy's back this week, maybe. I'm making this video on middle of the week, so it's not confirmed yet. I would really love to see Jermod McCoy be back this year some fashion because I think we need him a lot. But also that freshman Ty Redmond, I mean, he's already played the biggest game of his life. So now he can settle in and just play ball at the same time. I do like Colton Hood. I like McMurray. Boo Carter struggled in the first half, but he made up for it in the second half this past weekend. I think his head's getting back on right. So we have dudes in the secondary that can play ball. I'm not saying we're going to lose games because of injuries. Because you got to win with the guys you got on the field. I don't care who you are. But the speed of those receivers, Mississippi State's got 2 receivers that can run. That'll be a big key for their offense this week if they can get behind the secondary of the Vols defense. So we'll see. I just hope Tennessee gets its depth back on defense and able to make plays on the defense and force a couple turnovers. Vols favored by 7.5. I have us covering and winning on the road 41-27 down in Starkville this weekend. I think Tennessee's just more talented, better. Joey Aguilar's playing with so much confidence right now. That's not going to change no matter what game it is. I really like the rushing attack for this weekend, and I think even if you do cover Chris Brazzell, you're not going to be able to cover Braylon Staley or Mike Matthews. So, and if you do it the other way, if you cover Mike Matthews, you're not going to cover Chris Brazzell or Braylon Staley. So, I think that's I think this is a game the Vols should win and win pretty handily. I mean, we handled it last year at home, and I think we should do it again on the road. I think if it was a night game, it would be closer. But that being middle of the day, I do think the cowbells won't be ringing as loud. So we will see, and that's what I have for that one. 27 minutes and time for my upset of the week. We have my upset of the week, Saturday night, 6:30 on ABC, number 17, Alabama at number 5, Georgia. Georgia is favored by 2.5 points against the Tide. This is my upset of the week, and I have a few points here as to why. I think Jam Miller. I don't know for sure, but I think Jam Miller is back for Alabama. Run game gets going early for the Tide. I think you got to make that happen if Jam's back. If he's not back, I think that could be a real issue for Saturday because then Georgia can play light boxes and cover those wideouts that Bama has with more guys. If pressured, can Simpson make throws outside of the pocket? I think he's fixed it. They haven't played anybody since Florida State who's gotten to him like that. Georgia's gonna get home some on Saturday. Can Simpson still make those throws? He's got to. If he makes those throws, Bama will win this football game. Another thing is the 2 receivers Alabama has, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard. If they can do anything like Chris Brazzell and Braylon Staley did against Georgia, I don't foresee them stopping that yet. You got young corner on one side. I think Bernard will be in the slot a lot. I think they're going to make some big plays. Can Bama's defense stop the run? Because I'm telling you right now, Georgia is going to come out and try to run the ball down your throat for 60 minutes because that's exactly what Florida State did against you and won the football game. So, can you stop the run? if you prove to stop the run, you got a really good chance of winning this football game. The same thing that I said for Tennessee is true in this game. Can Alabama hit 3 big shots in this game? They don't have to be touchdowns, but can they hit 3 explosive plays in this game? Doesn't matter if it's a run or if it's a pass. Can they hit 3 to 4 explosive plays on offense? You'll win the football game or have a chance to win the football game. Now, on the other side of the ball, Georgia is at home in this game, which that's why they're getting 2.5. So this game is basically even. But on paper or on that charts, it'll be an upset. Can Georgia get pressure on Ty Simpson and force him into errant throws? I think they'll get pressure. I don't know. I think he's fixed the errant throw part, though. We'll see for sure. I don't dislike Ty Simpson as a quarterback. I think he is a very good thrower. I think he is a very good pocket passer. I think once he gets out of the pocket, his head scrambles a little bit, and it makes him spike it or overthrow it while he's running instead of just putting it where he needs to, just like he is in the pocket. You got to treat it like you're in the pocket. You're just running. For Georgia, has the secondary fixed its issues from the Tennessee game? They made great adjustments in the Tennessee game, mid-game, which is why after the 14-14 start, Aguilar ended up going, 8 for 20 the next 20 throws. But they did fix it, but that secondary was still, making mistakes for the whole game. Yes, Chris Brazel did go up and just make 3 crazy catches, but that's the thing that Ryan Williams is going to do too. That's the thing that Jeremy Bernard's going to do too. That's the thing Isaiah Horton's going to do too. They'll make those plays as well if you allow them to. So have you fixed some of those issues that you had in that game? We'll see. Georgia has to get the run game going early. Those 3 backs they have are very, very good. And if you get down like you did against Tennessee, you're not going to be able to utilize them the way you want to. I also think for Georgia, you got to let the playmakers make plays. Nate Frazier, Colby Young, Zachariah Branch. I think he could be huge in the special teams games as well. If you keep Gunner clean on Saturday and allow him to utilize everybody, because a big thing for Georgia is those tight ends they have. They have 4 stud tight ends that I think could really, really get involved in this game on Saturday and cause havoc on Bama's defense all over the field. Lawson Lucky, Oscar Delp, Elias Williams. There's one more that I'm forgetting. Sorry. But yeah, those guys, I think that could be a real big key. But for me, I do have this being an upset. This one can go either way, but I have Bama just until it happens. I said this about Georgia not being the number 1 team in the SEC, but that doesn't mean they can't lose a game in the regular season. Until somebody knocks Georgia off that number 1 spot of the SEC, they'll be the number 1 team. However, 1 loss does not insinuate that they are knocked off of that number 1 seed yet, because I do have Bama covering, and I do have them winning 31-27. Because at the same time, until it happens, I got to go with what's been the trend. So Bama covers, Bama wins 31-27 at Georgia, and that is my upset of the week. Had a lot of upsets on this one, actually. I think I had, let's see what we had. Ole Miss was favored, Tennessee was favored. Alabama game, I had TCU, Illinois, Pitt. 4 upsets out of the quite a few games I talked about. There were a few other games that I was going to mention as well, but they were not big time games. I think BYU Colorado play. I think BYU covers and wins that one. I think Arizona and Iowa State play. Arizona is 3-0. Iowa State's 4-0. I really like Iowa State out of the Big 12, so I have Iowa State covering and winning that one. There was one more Big Ten game that I can't remember off the top of my head that I liked for this weekend. But yeah, and that's all for episode 9 of the Southern Spread. I hope you guys all win some money this weekend and your teams win. Except for if you're an Alabama fan or a Georgia fan, kind of hope that game ends up in the first tie of college football history. Don't want either of you to win. But no, in all seriousness, I hope you guys have a great weekend and win some money and be safe out there. We got a crazy world, man. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. Like I said in my last video, if you haven't done it yet, please hit that bell on the page. That way you get notified every single time I post. That way you're not wondering where my posts are at. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week.